Support comes from Wise, the smart way to manage the currencies you need around the globe. Fed up with losing out to hidden fees when you send your money abroad with your everyday bank? Choose the smart way, Wise. You can count on the exchange rate you'd usually find on Google. No unwelcome surprises. Plus, ditch that "where's my money" feeling. Most transfers arrive in under 20 seconds. Join millions saving billions on hidden fees. Be smart, get Wise. Download the Wise app today. T's and C's apply.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the podcaster who, I don't even know, I don't have anything funny or witty to say. So I'm like totally drawn. Talk about the perfect place. Where's the perfect place to draw a blank? Draw a blank. This is a sleep podcast, but I can't even say draw a blank. I said draw a bank. Where's the perfect place to draw a bank? Well, anywhere, the perfect place, piece of paper or a paper-like, something similar to paper or something like paper or, anything. I mean, anything where you would use things to draw on, anything drawable. You could draw a bank, draw a blank. You don't have to, unless you're doing it metaphorically, as I'm an expert at. You could do it anywhere. So anytime, anywhere, I'm drawing blanks to take it. Welcome to Sleep With Me, the podcast that's here to keep you company and take your mind off stuff so you could fall asleep. Did I say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and friends beyond the binary? I hope I did. Because I'm so glad you're here. This show is if you're new, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. This is a strange podcast. You've already kind of witnessed that. I'm a different person than what you would expect. Definitely I'm not the host you would expect of a sleep podcast, which has been running over 10 years. But that's what I do. Because I've been there, and I want to help you fall asleep by taking your mind off stuff and keeping you company, so that you could fall asleep, but by being a mild distraction and a friendly voice in the deep, dark night. And the way the show works, it does take a couple tries to get used to. It is just so different, but it's just like you're talking to a friend who never gets to the point. So just see how the show goes. Give it a few tries. What we got coming up, there's support. So paying for the podcast is optional. A lot of people like to listen to this free version. A lot of people like to listen to this ad-supported version linearly, or that's how most people listen, but it is adjustable. I'll talk about that later on. Then there's a long, meandering intro. Has nothing to do with the support for the show. It's meant to ease you into bedtime. After that will be our bedtime story from our friends are walking around a mall doing stuff, helping people out. And then there's thank yous at the end. So it's a structured show. I'm really glad you're here. And thanks for coming by. And here's a couple ways I'm able to do this for you for free twice a week. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots, and I want to let you know about another sleepy podcast done. If you haven't heard about it before, I'm always talking about it. So if you're looking to add something to your sleepy mix, you got to check out Calm History. Would you like to learn more about the history for mining for coal, salt, and gold as you fall asleep? If so, you got to check out Calm History. It's done by my buddy Harris, who will soothe you to sleep as you learn about Florence Nightingale, hot air balloons, and the Klondike Gold Rush. And there are even episodes about the history of fictional forest-based friends, Charlie Chaplin, the Titanic. And all you need to do is search in your podcast player for Calm History, C-A-L-M History. Or use the link in our show notes and check it out. That's Calm History. Thanks, everybody. Oh, Mystery Bard. A lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at jonathanmann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through. search and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. And hey, the thing I've been talking about lately is like there's ways to support the show beyond the sponsors and supporting the show directly. If you're an occasional listener, right? If you're a new listener or you can't afford to support the show, follow the show on your podcast app of choice. Make sure to like or comment if your app allows that, and say hi. Spread the word about the show in person when it comes up, or let people know about it. Go ahead right now. Follow the show on your podcast app right now. Then you get the latest episodes and stuff like that. Great. Yeah, spread the word when you can, or sign up for. We're relaunching our referral program. It's going to be based with like live stream get-togethers every once in a while. We're going to make it more fun. You can sign up for that. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer, REFER. Thanks, and what do you say we get on with the show? All right, everybody, Scoots here. This is our episodically modular series, Multiplex. My mind went blank for a second. It does have a touch of seriality, and the main character, Wyatt, will get you caught up on the plot and the story. But it's also episodically modular, meaning you can listen to it in any order because the main character will get you caught up on the plots. It's modular, meaning you can move the modules around. I don't know if anybody uses that term, episodic. And there's other words like that. I mean, there are words in many different I think languages are composed of words. But not all of them. Words. There's some languages with words, including right now. But what I was trying to say was that, those were not words. Those were utterances. But they did have meaning. What I was trying to say is that you could listen to these in any order. That's what kind of modular means. You say, okay, this might be episode 12, but you could say one day there may be the Star Wars saga may get that far, and you'd say, 3, 6, 9. So let's just say then they go 10, 11, 12. And somebody, they just start going to the movies. When 12 comes out, they said, don't worry. You could, just come watch 12 with me. They have this thing at the beginning. It says it has a chapter title. Then it says, this happened and then this happened. Because there's stuff even in between the movies that happens. And they do the screen scroller thing. And then you can watch the other... we could watch the other 11, but maybe you don't have, maybe there's, or, we could watch those in any order because there'll be a little bit of a choice. And, you might even want to watch more than just those 11 because I'm a big fan of a couple of the ones that don't have numbers, but that might just be me. So, and also, there's someone who I've probably called. I don't know if he's not episodically modular, but oh boy, if there was a module that did everything, he has many modules. You could never replicate him with modules, I guess. But he, if you could label his many skills modules. Or if he was, a class, if he was going to give a master class, it would be a master class in class, because he's classy, and there's, so many more things. He's also our Hollywood announcer. He comes all the way from the greater Los Angeles area. He comes on stored solar energy most of the time. So I've tried to get him to come on stored thermal energy also by way of creating a place where I could live that has that's cooled and heated by geothermal energy and powered by it. he has not taken me up on that offer. You know, I have given him, you know, a budget range. But then he said, that's a lot of zeros. I said, yeah. I mean, this is cutting edge. And then he just laughs and pats me on the back like I'm making a joke. But like, I think he thinks like I'm like 90% serious, 10% joking. And the only 10% I'm joking is like, just in case you turn me down and you don't want to create a geothermal mansion I could live in for free. I mean, not for free, you know, as a gift to me. Just in case you don't want to do it. I'm only 90% serious. But when he laughs, it's a very classy laugh. It's not like he really thinks like that I have the same gravitas and class as him. So he probably thinks like it's like 5% I'm serious and 95% joking. But there's probably within that 95% of joking, for him, there's a range of types of joking, right? So that's why he laughs and claps me on the back in a way that's actually soothing, even though because it's so soothing. He has such a he's self-actualized. I mean, no doubt about it. In a way that soothes me, even though I say, dude, no, I'm serious. Like, I really want you to build. And then he says, I know you're serious. So it's almost like my unreality is filtered through his self-actualization. And then it becomes, so it goes from me being pretty much serious about him building me a mansion to live in based on technology that may or may not exist, which would also cause, you know, you have to fund the research and plus also on the timeline, like pretty soon, like let's get this going. Also be great if it was you know, because I might not, you know, I might want to be moving around. And then when it's filtered through his whatever, his class and whatever, gravitas, maybe my whole idea is wrong. Maybe I need to live in a mansion powered by your gravitas. I mean, isn't that one of the technologies in science fiction, like a gravity sink engine, gravitas? There's something about a gravity sink somewhere. Could we have a gravitas, the gravitas impeller or something? What do you think about that? He shrugged. But anyway, I went on and on and on just to set the room, I mean, I was just trying to be like, no, dude, I'm serious, like, about this. It's not like I'm asking it for free. I'm just saying, I don't know. Like I say, if you're in a position where you want to build me a mansion and also have it be, I mean, you could just build me a like, that's the thing. Like, you just giving me a mansion wouldn't make sense. But if it was powered by your gravitas or it would make great, look at this podcast material we're getting out of it. But anyway, this is our, welcome to our Hollywood announcer, Mr. Antonio Banderas. So friends behind the binary, so ladies and gentlemen, so boys and girls, it's time for Multiplex. Chicka-chicka. Whoa, boy, that one, that you just powered me for a week, dude. Never mind. I take it. I feel like I have an internal mansion. Like they taught, like almost like I feel like I've met with a guru just from listening to you make that sound. And I've discovered a palace inside me. Though, really be good, even though I've discovered my internal palace, powered by your sound effects, be great to park my internal palace in a geothermal mansion. And then I could sing who lives in a geothermal mansion with a view of the sea. And then you could laugh, like, right? So, no? Okay. Well, anyway, that's Mr. Antonio Banderas. This is Multiplex, everybody. Good evening, everybody. My name's Wyatt. I'm here recording these audios for reference, so you could hear a story that hasn't been heard before, an adventure of friends an adventure of the lifetimes of many lifetimes, I guess. Adventure I'm telling for two reasons. One, to clear the air because I got some attention on the internet because I used to make a public access television show where I would show movies, and they would be old movies about autumnal archetypes. And then sometimes I would interview the autumnal archetypes. And people always were like, wow, that's some great makeup. That's some great, who's the performer? Who is it? Like, even casting directors now reach out to me. I say, well, one, that was a long time ago. That was a public access show. To be honest, I just didn't reply because I didn't post them on the internet. Other people did. And, everybody said I was brilliant. And it's not true. I'm clearing the air that those were friends of mine. There was no makeup. There wasn't any acting. How did you meet somebody like that then? That's one part of this story. That's the less important part, actually. Because the more important part is how do people four friends on an adventure of a lifetime. Four friends headed in different directions, but three of us were on on our own paths. And I say this with all humility, to greatness. To greatness as defined by the society, to greatness as defined by our family's expectations, to greatness as defined by ourselves. Maybe greatness externally and internally. I don't know what it felt like because we never achieved the kind of greatness we seemed to set out to achieve at the beginning of this adventure. Each of us was a striver, successful, driven, focused, all those things. People said, the places you'll go. But they meant on an upward progression. The doors that'll open as you go along this path. But we were on that path, and then we went on this adventure. And the venture led each of us to a different path. So paths, I think, is a more where the paths, instead of going upward, went not inward, but a path towards people among people, towards a life without flash photography. I mean, unless we're choosing it, without I don't know, you know what I mean? Just life well lived. I don't. If you're paying attention, you'll learn more about it. But it's the kind of story no one wants to hear. That you say, well, how'd you become? You're not that interesting, but you got a lot of interesting stories. And I say, yep, yes, yep, oh, okay. All right, thanks. That's kind of where we ended. That's the truth and a metaphor. You say, well, boy, that was one exciting tale I heard about you being in. Yeah. Anyway, you want a lemonade while we sit here and listen to the crickets? Well, I thought we'd talk about the meaning of life. And then I would just say, we're going to listen to the crickets and drink lemonade. But even in my mind, I wouldn't know that I was, because I'm recording this, I say, oh, okay, I see it now. So anyway, I got a little high-minded there. I guess we're talking about how I didn't become high-minded. Funny. But we're talking about an adventure in a shopping mall with myself, Wyatt, my friends Josie and Santos, and then Boyd, the corncob kid, a classmate of ours who we became friends with because of this adventure. And we were in a shopping mall. We had got into the shopping mall, been closed for years. We were looking for Julius J. Juice concentrate that we were going to use because I had lost a scholarship to school. And I wasn't going to be able to go without that scholarship. So we're going to take this abandoned Julius J. Juice concentrate, and Boyd was going to sell it, and we were going to make money. And it was going to help me towards my college dreams, my university dreams. But what happened is when we entered the shopping mall, we found, first we thought we were in some sort of immersive theater because we kept running into beings, autumnal archetypes from movies. And there was a sense of unreality, like we're in an immersive theater. Mall had been closed for years, but it was functional. Some stores were stocked. Other stores would become stocked. There was food to eat. There was employees who would come and go. Some of the stuff we still haven't figured out at this point in the story, but along the way we learned, one, the autumnal archetypes, like the mommy, the Count of Chocolate, Franny, who had to deal with, Franny goes by other names too. The person who couldn't be seen, they all needed help. And if we helped them, they would be able to get back into their movies. They'd come out of the multiplex into the mall. But they need to get back into the multiplex, get back into their movie. But we had to help them get back in the movie because most of those movies, they don't end nicely for the autumnal archetypes. And that's not to say that the autumnal archetype, we still hadn't figured out what to do with the person who couldn't be seen because their movie, while it gets their movie, all of our brows were furrowed because of the behavior of the person who couldn't be seen. So we had tried to help them. We still were unresolved. But when we helped the other beings get back to their movies, suddenly their movies became cereal commercials. For cereals they would be the star of. And along the way, we found out a couple other things. One, time behaves differently there. One day in the mall, in the multiplex in the shopping mall equals 1 hour in our world we came from. And also the mall is where an intersection of a transverse plane or something like that, where universes intersect. So it wasn't a performance piece. And how we knew that was we ran into somebody other than the autumnal archetypes who ran into a cereal mascot. So kind of the reverse. We're helping autumnal archetypes become cereal mascots. I don't know if that's the right word. Cereal star, I guess. We met Crispy Commander, Captain. I always get his name mixed up, even now. Crispy Commander, Commander Crunch. Definitely Crispy Captain Crispy. Crispy Commander Crunch. And he was not human, but living, like a giant hat with eyes and ears and a nose and a mouth and arms and legs. Not as tall as us, but not that much small enough to fit in a large grandfather clock to sleep in. And very bright colored. Great question. So like an animated being come into 3 dimensions to join us. And we had already suspended our disbelief. Commander Crunch gave us a mission, but we were already on. Keep helping the autumnal archetypes. I'm here because of the transverse plane. I'm going to pay. You're going to get paid because we're actually helping them. This is supposed to happen is basically what Commander Crunch presented it as. We have to help we don't know why. We have to help these autumnal archetypes become serial characters, serial stars. And somehow the Crispy Commander is a part of that, and that will get compensated by the cereal company. And, obviously we're helping. And also, if we don't help, they could just leave the mall. It may be pretty hard to leave, is our understanding. But, I mean, especially thus far, we would definitely want the person who couldn't be seen walking around, going to our houses, and eating our food or rearranging our furniture. Or what Josie strongly felt is that in the film, the person who can be seen would take people's bikes without their permission, ride it recklessly, and then throw it in a canal. And I mean, if that isn't the depths of malice, I don't know what else could be classified as like poor autumnal archetype behavior. So much so that we haven't thus far been able and willing to help the person who couldn't be seen return to their film. And we even contemplated stopping their film to see what would happen. And it was in that process that we discovered, we already knew there's some sort of magical or, non-normal force going here with the transverse plane. It was controlling the projectors. Because the movies were always on loops, obviously, like something could come in and out of the movies. The movies could be changed. Eventually, they'd be changed into cereal commercials. But also we found when we were looking around the projector room for one of the theaters in the Multiplex, we found a little hideout for a Crispy Commander. And it was full of like love poems and drafts of love letters. And we were reading them and going through them and processing them. And that's actually where I left my tail off, so we'll pick right up. So we were reading these things, we'd found them, and we were kind of started reading them and resting and then discussing things. And it was kind of, I don't know, we felt a little bit weird because we had kind of stumbled into it by accident, but you could not read love poems and love letter drafts it's just degrees of strangeness, I guess. You say, I thought we suspended our disbelief, but now we have to, it's like going into an onion. Now we have to suspend our disbelief again because this was love poems written by a serial star. And as we read through things to a human being, but even in layers than that, I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. But I guess I'll just go ahead and explain it. As far as we could piece together, this had been something that had been happening over a period of time. And again, because time outside was slower, or inside, it meant that, I don't know, we couldn't quite place a timeline on how long the Crispy Commander had been there, right? And been writing letters, because time was passing differently. But it was, the poetry was, I'm not trying to say this in a judgmental way, very basic. And it did over time kind of get better and better and better, but we were reading it out of order. Santos was and Boyd were big. They were like, okay, well, they kind of almost started putting it in piles by how good it was. And it did go by kind of like kindergarten it never got to middle school, the poetry. And that was our sense, was these weren't love letters. they were written as love letters at first, but they were more drafts of letters of a crush. But then they started to get the letters. Well, the poetry kind of hit a plateau. The drafts of the letters were, it was hard to follow because there was stuff we didn't understand in there about retirement. That's like the retirement. Crispy Commander had a vibrance, so we're like, not that you can't have a vibrance when you retire, but it was just confusing. And then there was something about a commercial. Because so first we thought, okay, this is maybe somebody from the cereal world. But then Josie was really following. She said, no. This is like an actress from a cereal commercial. And it sounds like she was like in grad school, either in the commercial or when you're reading someone else's love letters, trying to drafts of love letters even, you're piecing it together. And said, okay, well, and then it became like these coaching letters, like almost like at first Crispy Commander didn't realize, or even if like a childish way of like, oh, this is just an actress in a commercial. But then it became like a artistic acting coach drafts. And there was a lot to read, right? So this was slowly being revealed to us. And at first it was like, but then, because Josie and I were kind of the ones reading letter drafts, and again, these were a bit out of order. So then we were trying to organize it in a way that made any sense, but it was very, very confusing. But what we knew was that, and again, then Josie was like, maybe this isn't even real. Like, this is maybe all like fiction to pass the time. And I said, okay, well, explain it to me, like if it's fiction to pass the time. And Josie said, okay, so let's just say it's boring being here. Maybe the Crispy Commander's been here for a very, very long time, right? Maybe there's something going on with these cereal commercials. Maybe the Crispy Commanders are like watching TV somewhere, or because but so it seems like the Crispy Commander saw this commercial with this grad student in it. And it felt like there was some sort of there was already a degree of whatever the retirement is, seems like the Crispy Commander was down about that. Then there's something about the commercial where the Crispy Commander felt like I don't know, something frowny faced. Then the Crispy Commander realizes that it's a commercial. And so it's almost like, and then the Crispy Commander started writing letters. Maybe these aren't drafts, even though there's a lot of mistakes in here. Maybe it's just like it's a thing. And we're all like, oh boy, this is interesting. But Josie said, yeah, maybe it's just like to cope, like an invention, like a fiction. And I said, so the commercial might be real, but there's not an actress. I mean, or is there an actress? But so you're saying the Crispy Commander's pretending to be her acting coach and writing these fictional letters. I guess I'm more comfortable with that. And pretending to send them to her, like, and coach her through her acting and encourage her. And then we started to get deeper into it and then it seems like though the Crispy Commander's presenting an opportunity for her to come here and perform in an immersive theater and like a camp, acting camp. And then we were like, Josie, are you and Joe said, no, it's not me. And I'll be honest, all of us were kind of sitting in our feelings of discomfort with all of this. And maybe it's just that, I don't know. But that's when we heard Crispy Commander. Or first we thought we heard something. And then the Crispy Commander said, breakfast time. And then we knew it's Crispy Commander because that's what the Crispy Commander always says in the commercials. And the Crispy Commander is watching us from the vent discuss. We didn't know how long the Crispy Commander had been there or what we had said. But the Crispy Commander knew enough and said, so you found my letters and poems. And we said, sorry, we just found them. We didn't. And the Crispy Commander first was going to hop down, but then hung down and dropped from the vent. I said, I guess that's fine, but it probably needs a pretty long, meandering explanation. And we said, we're confused. Is this real or fiction? And Crispy Commander said, real. She's real. And I think we all got goosebumps at that, and not autumnal goosebumps, not Valentine's Day goosebumps. And the Crispy Commander sat down and started to tell us a tale. And it was quite a tale. First of all, the Crispy Commander said, I really haven't talked to you about where I come from. I come from the cereal world, right? And we said, man, why hadn't we we're so focused on these autumnal things? And the Crispy Commander said, I came here from a cereal world. It's kind of hard to explain because I don't understand it either, but it's like, do we come in existence because we came in existence in your world in a fictional way? Or are we already existing and then we come to exist in so this shopping mall is where there's a clear intersection of the transverse plane. But the Crispy Commander said, a collective unconscious might be one way of describing smaller crossovers. Did someone decide to make a Crispy Commander cereal and then I started living in my cereal world? Or was I living in my cereal world and then someone made a Crispy Commander cereal? And we said, well, why don't you know? And the Crispy Commander said, because my world's different than your world. And in my world, well, let me tell you about my cereal. It was popular for a while. But what I remember recently is that, there was a change in flavors and popularity. I used to be really popular. I know that. That's the way, I guess I don't remember things in the same way all of you do. But I remember them telling me I used to be popular. And then my popularity waned. And they said, well, we're making this Crispy Commander cereal. It's corn-based. It's not as popular anymore. And someone had an idea to add Frunchies, which is fruit crunchies, to my cereal. So there was my cereal, Crispy Commander. Then there was Crispy Commander and the Frunchies. And the Frunchies were side berry-based beings that I discovered on an adventure in the Frunchie forest. You don't have to over-explain it, but they're just, they were berry beings, but they're not real berries, right? They were crunchies. Now, they They weren't made from the same materials. This is a cereal, right? The Frunchies were made from something different than the Crispy Commander Crunchies. But then the Frunchies and I were, we were kind of friends in the cereal world, but not totally. You know, they had their own stuff going on, and they stayed among, you know, there was purple, green, yellow, red and orange, and they hung out with each other. But they were just called the Frunchies in the commercials, even though they had different voices. And they had different voices, obviously, in my world. So this is talking about both our worlds, right? And that helped, right? Suddenly my cereal was consumed again. But the Frunchies one was a little bit more popular than just my Crispy Commander, but it was still like a team thing. And then what happened was somebody thought of the idea of just doing Frunchies, just Frunchies, they called it. Then they tried Freedom Frunchies, but whatever. They call it there's a Frunchies only cereal. And that became way more popular. Also, there was a change in what do they call that? The commodities market. I don't totally understand that. And Boyd did. So Boyd gave us a quick, brief overview of commodities. Said that, yeah, corn futures and Commander Crunch probably was what happened. So I became more expensive to make in the Frunchies, so they retired me, basically. They said, we're going to retire the Crispy Commander, and maybe one day we'll bring back a Crispy, you know, if the corn futures change or popularity, because people were over it. There was they're tired of corn-based, puffy, sugary cereals. And my time had come. Now, in our world, you were retired. And that was like, that in our world, it means something different than your world. Like your world, retirement's something nice, I think. I've seen some of the brochures around and some of the books in the bookstore. Our world, retirement meant you're no longer needed. And I wasn't around really down for that. And at the same time, we're still aware. Now, the thing is, if a person is in a cereal commercial, they don't come to our world, right? But we can see everything that's going. We can gotta get an idea because we're part of the commercial, right? I don't know. It's like a weird memory retention, like it was a real thing. So I can remember seeing these commercials, and once they decided Frunchies, they also they kind of made it where, oh yeah, you probably never liked that Crispy Corn Commander, all bossy and all that, but you can have your Frunchies and eat it too. And that's when I saw her, like she was the star of that commercial. They said, don't you remember when you were a kid? Breakfast was something to look forward to. Now you're skipping. You're on the run. You're drinking lattes and shining but don't you need something to fuel your day? Wouldn't you like to start with a smile? Same smile you had as a kid, but that corn, what did it for you, right? But how about a familiar friend like the Frunchie, you know, something like that, and she was there. And, you know, she had stuff to do, and she was going places, and she needed the fueled by Frunchies. I think that was a shirt she wore. And I fell in love, or whatever you guys call it, a crush, a schoolboy crush. I think I heard one of you say it. And you're right, I didn't know the difference between a person in a commercial and an actress, but I suddenly was like, I'm not retiring. Well, I knew that path towards retirement was waiting for me. I was also rebellious, and I was like, now I have something to not retire for. Otherwise, you just kind of do, I don't know. So I said, I'm not being retired. Because if they were to retire me and then they brought back Crispy Commander, it'd be a new Crispy Commander, right? Because they anyway, you know what I mean. I think you guys call it Rainbow Bridge or Big Farm in the Sky or something. So I was like, I'm in love now, and I'm not gonna be retired, and I'm gonna figure out how to bridge this world. And I mean, it was childish, like y'all said, but and then I found out what acting was in commercials because I met somebody that wanted to help me, and they said, "Well, I have a way to help you. I need some help too." And they had a whole philosophy, like, but they said, I have these other friends that need help, and I need somebody to go there and get things ready to help my friends get out of their world. And they explained it to me. They said, you'd come to this mall and you'd help them get out of their films, and then now I'll be honest with all of you, because you probably are wondering if you can trust me anymore. Crispy Commander hasn't been honest with us. Crispy Commander's been up to something. But I'll be honest with you about my dishonesty, because I was also dishonest with this person I made a deal with. I figured out, one, the time runs differently here, right? So I had a little bit more time. And as I thought about, writing these letters and writing these love letters and eventually figuring out a way to get those letters sent, I figured out that I came up with another plan, right? I figured out, wait a second, if this world where the movie characters come from, and my world and your world are all intersected here, then maybe I could get access to the serial world too. And then I don't know, am I making any sense? I don't think you're all looking at me. So yeah, I tried to instead of because if I did what they did, the movie friends would just be walking around the mall here. I was supposed to just tend to them and actually keep them in the theater and not let them out. And they would be stuck on the loop, and they said eventually they'll come here once every character, because I had to start the movies, right? But I figured out something else. I said, wait a second, I could put them in I could make them into cereal with just a couple changes. I don't know. And then they wouldn't come into your world, right? Or they wouldn't be waiting here. So that person's going to come and they're not going to be happy with me, but I'll be gone, and you'll all be gone too, probably. We just need a little bit more time. They're not scheduled to come here yet till every movie's been played. They gave me all the film, and yeah. So and then I said, this doesn't make any sense at all, Crispy Commander. It's more confusing I'm more confused now than I've ever been. So you're saying, I don't know, does anybody have any questions that could even make this comprehensible? Yeah, and Josie said, yeah. Okay, let's just focus on one area here. So you have been sending letters to this actress? Is this really happening? She's coming here? And the Crispy Man said, thanks, Josie. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, she's coming here, and I'm going to need your help. And our minds were, Josie was somehow able to have some composure, but said, yeah, I need you to be here, like at an acting camp. and to help me. And I don't know, we were kind of at a loss of even like, so this is like, I don't know, like, what do you do when someone proposes an idea that's so, like, our belief had been reanimated, our disbelief. Josie said, I don't think we can help you, though. Like, why does she think she's coming here for acting lessons and an opportunity? None of this even makes any sense, and you're not. And then the Crispy Commander held up their hands and said, "Don't worry, I got everything figured out. You just have to trust me, right?" But I don't know. Luckily, we were kind of lulled into silence because it was like, how can we possibly trust you when this is just I mean, no offense to the Crispy Commander, but I think Josie's point was like, you're not you're a living being, but you're not from our world. But she's an actress from our world. Like, I don't know if you're going on a pretty big assumption that, like, and you're not even being honest with her. She's coming here to go to acting camp at an immersive acting camp. And Josie said, no, this isn't okay. Like you got to tell her you can't even tell. There's no way you could tell anybody that. No one would believe it. And I said, Josie's right. Like, this is something's not right here, Crispy Commander. And we were supposed to do was help, and we're trying to help. And then Santos took in a breath because Santos said, how are the letters even getting out? And then Santos was like, the person who can't be seen. And the Crispy Commander nodded and said, yeah. Like you guys are helping me whether you want to or not. And yeah, the person who couldn't be seen was just buying time with all of you. We're working together, and I got a plan. And you're either going to help me. You're going to help me for the next 40 days or so here, and then you can go home. You'll have you'll be ready to pay for school. You'll have kept your world from having a mall full of autumnal archetypes and some other figure controlling them. Or you could not help. And I don't see how that's even possible. But I do need your help or your assistance. And I think I have enough levers to use because the person who can be seen is we're getting ready to start another film, and the doors to that theater are open, and that person will follow a certain smell, and it could guide them wherever. And we said, wait a second, like. And so we already went through this with you, though. And who are you even working with, or who did you work against? And you can't just... And the Crispy Commander said, I don't see that any of you really, like, you might be acting like you're just going to have to make the best of it here. Like, the Crispy Commander said, or you could try to leave, and then... You just abandon the mall, maybe go tell some adults, see what they say about it. Crispy Commander said, good luck, even if you get some authority figures to come by. I don't really see what they're going to do. Because if you notice, like, I'm not the only, like, the mall itself, the transverse plane is active. And we said, holy moly. But here's the thing that happened is that we all kind of didn't say anything, but we exchanged looks like, well, I don't know. We'd already formed a bond, I guess. that said we're going to have to all, as Emma Otter said, because that was Emma Otter's, an Emmett Otter, all will be well. Maybe it was put in this sense in the Emmett Otter, ain't no hole in the wash tub. But even if there is a hole in the wash tub, you got to make the most of it. This was a pretty big hole. There's holes in this cosmic wash tub. And it was like even the jug had holes in the jug, that the jug, we can't have a jug band with a jug that's made from Swiss cheese. And we just looked at one another and said, all will be well. We'll get this figured out. This is weird. This is as weird as it had ever gotten, but in a way that we knew we could make it okay. We could figure it out. And that was our plan. And so that's where we're at now. And we decided to just show the Crispy Commander, okay, we'll do our best. And we just raised our hands and said, all right, this is a lot. I said to the Crispy Commander, but we have to do what's right. Maybe you have to figure out what's right too, Crispy Commander. Maybe that'll change from right now. It looks like you're growing up and from reading these letters, I don't know what's going to happen next, but we're going to try to help you the best we can. But all our fingers, I'll be honest with you, all will be well, but our fingers were also crossed behind our backs. So we're going to make sure all will be well in the right, the way. We weren't just going to go along with it, but we also knew this is where we said, yeah, you really you're right. So we said, okay, this is kind of like if you were a senior in high school, like we were, then somehow you were in 7th grade and somebody's running these 7th grade tricks on you. We said, okay, yeah. We'll do whatever you want, man. We're all yours. 7th grade tricks, but pretty big stakes. But all will be well, like Emma Otter says. So all will be well, everybody. Good night. I want to thank everybody that started supporting the show and Sleep With Me Plus recently. Tasha, Candace, and Larissa, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Juliana, Nicole, and Xylene, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Kristen, Layla, and Jody, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Philip, Catherine, and Maya B, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Claire, Nav, and Kirk, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Devin, Katie, and Brianna, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Carly, Gregory, and Matt, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Moji, Justin, and Robbie, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Ramona, Naomi, and Vinny, thank you. Thanks, and good night. And Justin, Tara, and Michael, thank you. Thanks, and good night. Thanks for everybody who supports the show directly on Sleep With Me Plus, or Apple Podcasts, or supports our sponsors. That's how the team of people that work in the show are able to come here and bring you these episodes every single week. And if you're not in a position to support the show directly or support the sponsors, a huge way to support Sleep With Me is join our referral program, get rewarded for referring people to podcasts, or just share about podcasting in general, your favorite podcasts with people. It's a huge help to everybody around. So thanks so much. And here's Scoots either with a Tuck You In sponsor or a Month in Review. Thanks.